Good morning. I was just sitting having a flick through X there, and I saw a post from Fianna Fáil's Minister for Agriculture about these all of a sudden remembrance of the farmers, of planning and manifestos for them. Will we not forget, please, that they're already in government, and anything that we needed or wanted, anything that we needed, never mind wanted, if they cared about that, we would already have it. Okay. Now, on the other hand, I have consistently always spoken out for our fishermen, our farmers, for advocating for ownership of our own resources and out of the clutches of the EU tyranny. I advocate for an air exit. Now, I'd just like to tell you, right, now it's funny as well, right, how Fianna Fáil suddenly put this up, right, just after getting the literature from the farmers, because I got it too. Now, the difference is, though, is that I already speak about them, not just for an election. But I'm going to tell you a little bit, right, just from one of the things I was looking up after reading their literature. One of the things that our farmers have had to deal with under the current government, okay? So, the proposed Mercosur agreement, right? This is a proposed fair trade agreement between the EU and the countries in... Now, this is all my own writing, okay? It's my own research and my own words and whatever, right? I'm not reading out of somebody else's literature. It's a fair trade agreement between the EU and the countries in Mercosur, right? This consists of Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay and Bolivia. It aims to facilitate trade between Europe and South America by eliminating nearly all customs duties on trade between the two blocs. The EU hopes to boost exports of European goods that currently face high tariffs in Mercosur countries, such as cars, clothing and wine. I'm not buying that anyway, eh? They must be getting something out of it. Now, let's break it down and see what this Mercosur agreement actually means. So, it includes cutting import tariffs on up to 45,000 tonnes of honey, 60,000 tonnes of rice, 180,000 tonnes of sugar. I don't think that they're something that are essential to us and that we're crying out for, but okay. So how does this benefit us? We keep going. 99,000 tonnes of beef will be imported, subject to a fixed tariff of 7.5%. 60,000 tonnes of another type of bovine meat, I would like to know what I'm eating, would you? 180,000 tonnes of poultry, so 60,000 tonnes of bovine meat and 180,000 tonnes of poultry will be imported duty-free. Now, this is an unfair playing field, right? The farms in South America are much larger and they don't have as stringent, we'll say, standards to adhere to, right? And their labour costs are lower. So this creates an unfair competition. It's an incomparable market, you know. Our farmers produce a better quality of produce here because of the rich agricultural land that we live on, surrounded by oceans. Now, at the moment, it's fairly polluted with what they're doing to the water, out of the skies and everything else, you know. But I advocate for ownership of our own resources. And I've spoken out about this vehemently. The Fianna Fáil government that's there at the moment doesn't care about the farmers. They don't care. This is what they were subject to. I mean, how are our farmers supposed to compete with beef being imported with a tariff of 7.5%, duty-free on other type of bovine meat and poultry? See, our farmers bear the costs of these extra standards, you know, the money that they have to put into their farm and to their animals in order to meet these safety standards. So how are they supposed to compete with that? And do any of us even want that? Were we asked about that? Do we want substandard meat? Or any other bovine type meat for that matter? I certainly don't. And I can taste the difference. I've stopped eating meat unless I get it from my local butchers because I can taste the difference of what's coming into the country. Now, Brazil is the world's leading beef exporter. It cannot guarantee that red meat that it exports to the EU has not been produced using estriadol, a growth hormone that was banned in Europe decades ago, but it's still widely used in Brazil. So This doesn't seem like we're really getting anything out of it, does it? Let's go a bit further. Now, the ratification of this agreement will only depend on the cooperation of the member states too. Just remember that. Now, Europe will be seeking to secure its access to key raw materials, there it is, such as lithium, copper, iron, and cobalt through this trade bloc deal. These raw materials are crucial to the EU's green energy transition. Right, so we're going to get substandard beef that is filled with growth hormone and doesn't taste as good over our fresh, organic, beautiful produce that can be, grown and reared here in our own country. Why? So that the EU can get their hands on the raw materials that they want. So who's benefiting from this? Is it our farmers? Is it the working class citizens? Is it our health? Or is it the elites again? I mean, I have met and spoken to multiple farmers that are working on building sites as well as running the family farm. This is unacceptable. This is the pressures that farmers have been put under with absolutely no support from a Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government. Now, I believe that further restrictions from the EU, coupled with competition from an incomparable market, would have devastating implications for the future of rural Ireland. The proposed Mercosur agreement translates to a death sentence for Irish farming, family farming, and the healthy organic produce that comes only from our soil. The right assistance should be offered to our farmers by government to ensure that they not only survive but thrive on our own soil. The Mercosur agreement should be rejected in full so as to ensure our health, prosperity, and sovereignty as a nation. And if elected, they are definitely the channels that I plan to follow. Erin go bra.